All right. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be in time and space. KCOS here. All right. This is another attempt at trying to do this flight. I apologize deeply for earlier. If it wasn't my own mistakes, it was the Open Broadcaster software that I was using that kept disconnecting. So I've given it a few hours and I'm back to try it again. I want to apologize right now in case the same thing happens and we start disconnecting. And it was constant. It was just every 10 seconds I kept getting disconnected. I deeply, deeply apologize for that. All right. I'm not going to muck about this time with the, starting at the gate. I'm going to go ahead and just get the flight going and see if this goes. This is a refresher flight for me. I haven't been around. Life has thrown me some seriously crushing curveballs in the last few months, and I have been away for a while and feel like I've forgotten how to do everything. So it's your choice whether you want to stick around to see what happens. You do. Hey, I guess it's good to see you. Good to have you on board. If you have any questions, looks like OBS has got a chat linked between OBS and YouTube. So if you have any questions, not necessarily related to this particular flight, but if you have any questions about the Airbus A320 and I can answer it, I will. If you have any questions about flying in general, if I can answer them, I will. All right, so I'm not doing this in the MCDU tonight and not doing any heavy training and just a refresher. So here we are set up to take off Colorado Springs, and I want to arrive I've already looked at the landing data for the ILS 34 left approach. All right, so that should be good. If you notice any other problems, audio or sound or any other problems, just please go ahead and throw that out in the chat. I really want to get back into this again. I haven't had any time with everything that's been going on, and now things are kind of going back to normal, kind of. And I also have creative projects coming in that I'm slowly but surely taking on, and I want to have those up in the next few months, some big ones. So it's going to take a while. But I really want to get back into the flying, and I've been really enjoying everything that they've been doing with the world updates. Of course, things break occasionally. It's to be expected. But I really, really like the new planes. I love the jets. And I made this mistake earlier. Again, maybe just trying to go too fast. I didn't set the time. So already making mistakes. Now, what's the point? I mean, yeah, I could get some night flying hours, but what's the point if it's a live stream and nobody can see anything? Then, and I kept telling myself, now don't mess that up. Don't mess that up. Don't forget it like last time. I have to restart. Get it to where we can see things. Don't want to muck about. Sorry. That's all it's been today is just, I'm sorry's. Do. So yeah, trying to get back into this. I'd love to, if you don't have Microsoft Flight Simulator, I'd love to show you the Volocopter. Maybe not tonight, but soon. I definitely want to do some live streams with the Volocopter. It's a hoot. Some live streams with the F-14 and the F-16. But people have been just flooding YouTube with a lot of those videos. So, okay. Let me get my altitude set here. That's something else too that I've noticed. When you zoom in now, if you click your central mouse wheel to disengage and click things, it zooms back out again. That's been driving a lot of people mad. You have to use your right mouse button after you zoom in so it doesn't reset itself. I hope they get that one worked out, or we figure out what to do to stop that from happening. 17 should be good. Okay, I'm gonna think ahead. Brake set for landing now. Right. I had a problem with YouTube. If you are a subscriber and a follower of mine and you're like, what happened to all your live streams? A long story. Again, more curveballs. YouTube and I have had a difficult time the last few months. Didn't see it eye to eye on a lot of them. And it's because I included music, but music I was allowed to use, etc., etc. And so, you know, it was having to go through every single one and edit out just areas, and said, heck with it. This year, if things go well, I can remake those up in no time. So I just pretty much deleted everything. Okay, up and away. So let's get our gear up. Let's get our flaps up. Get our throttle into position. And turn on the autopilot. Engage our altitude climb. Looks like she's going to turn all the way around. I love the black skinned frame. I doubt we're really running any. I really doubt we're going to run into any icing, maybe a little bit, but I love the skin for that reason. When I first started using it, it was definitely cold and we were getting a lot of icing, and you can immediately see when any icing builds up on this plane. So looking out east over Colorado Springs right here. Keep going north in a straight line. Denver up ahead. Colorado Springs sits out here on the, they call this the Front Range. And you kind of got this wall of mountains that goes north to south as far as the eye can see, all the way down into Pueblo and heading towards New Mexico. Just huge wall. So interesting, when I tried doing this flight earlier, the way the computer set it up, it was as soon as you take off, it was a direct turn towards the mountains and heading straight towards Pikes Peak. And this time it's taking us out and about first. See that little sign down there that says security wide field? Well, yeah, right there. That's actually a couple of miles off. And I don't know if you can see my mouse. This is right over here. This is security wide field. So I don't know why the pin is there at the airport. Because it's more over that way. I guess this would be the northernmost part of it. The northernmost part. Anyway, I'm pointing out that this is where I live. I live in the security wide field area. Nice name, huh? Fills you with confidence. It's not like that at all. Area's always had kind of a bad reputation. But again, if you live there, everybody's got a, filled with pride. We love our little neighborhood. It's not always been the best, though. Straight ahead as I'm looking out, see if you can see my mouse moving around this range right here. This is Cheyenne Mountain, where NORAD is at. The Stargate. If you watch the Stargate television show, you're familiar with Cheyenne Mountain and the NORAD installation. My grandfather helped build that. All this area is all new development in recent years. Stretching it this way, it's just expanding so much. It used to be nothing. None of this, none of that. Even all this, and here right below me, a lot of this didn't exist. Especially as you push north, everybody's been filling up all that space out there. One of these days, it's going to connect straight through from Denver all the way to here, and it's going to be a sad day. But people just keep coming and coming and coming. The good news is you can, if you choose to, you can still get away from it all. Out here. So far, thank goodness, no OBS problems. We cross my fingers. Is there any wood around here I can knock on? I don't think you can knock on a cat for good luck. Come here, kitty. Just kidding. Just kidding. The Air Force Academy down there. Yes. Taken this trip repeatedly, and I've always enjoyed it. It's always nice to see the mountains. It's always been a thrill. I'm up to 1.9. All right, they want us to go to 19, so adjust that, pull down. It's always been a thrill to see the mountains from on high and realize, yeah, there's a lot out here still. The more I fly around out here, the more I start looking for good spaces to get away. Well, that looks like a good spot. If I had to get away, what are the roads? Where's some water? It's got a nice water body next to it. Some of the terrain out here, like with going south, you know, some of the terrain is so rugged. Not maybe like northern Wyoming crazy going into Utah, just badlands kind of mountains. These get pretty rough. I'd only realized that recently. I had to do a road trip from Las Vegas back to Colorado, and we went that route. We went, you know, into Utah and through Wyoming and back down, coming back around this way, and came south. And I'm just blown away at how, what's the word? Yeah, the badlands, desolate, bleak. I mean, you'd have to be just an incredibly, a hard person just to match the environment. All right, spinning around our altitude knob up to 28, pull down, engage it. Check over here, make sure we are in fact climbing. Yeah, there it goes. See this? Okay. Some things I didn't show you, but if you would like to see how to check your flight plan, you can set this knob here. You can use these knobs. You can move this knob to flight or plan. You can zoom in and out miles from 10 miles to 320 miles. And you can now see your flight plan down in the display. All right. Things were getting good the last time I was with you when we were practicing. We were having so much fun. We were having so much fun learning how to use the MCDU. We were having so much fun learning how to create our own flight plans and stringing these flights together. You know, we would spend evenings live streaming where just one flight or, 1, 2, 3, 4 flights in a row. So we don't go back out to the main menu. We just build it all on the fly in the MCDU. And I have a couple of videos up still on, they should be up on how to do that. Check my Microsoft folders. And I've been trying to organize everything and get all the cover art or reorganized so things aren't confusing and it's easy to find what you need. Apologize for any confusion in the past. So yeah, building our own flight plans, editing them when things go wrong, making changes. I think one of the most fun things we were doing also was learning how to put in our own frequencies and do VOR to VOR in the Airbus. I can't even remember how. We're using our VOR screen. And we're setting that to VOR. VOR 1 and 2. They've added VOR 2. That's nice. They didn't have VOR 2 last time. And I would need a VOR. Let me run over SkyVector real quick. If you don't know about SkyVector and you're a new pilot, that is one of the best free websites ever. Most valuable player. See if I can get it to pop up on the screen for you here. SkyVector. Properties. SkyVector. Fantastic. Okay, and we want to see the center up on Salt Lake. Okay, so we're already there. All right, so as we're traveling out this way, coming this way, we should be able to hit this VOR. So this is Carbon County Regional Buck Davis Field. Maybe we want one a little closer. KCOS. And we're probably over here somewhere. Let's try this one. 1106. Was it? Did we use the radios? Yeah. Let me go back to. So what I'm trying to do here is get a VOR like this here, 110.6. And then come back into my MCDU and select the radio button. Radio nav. One 0.6. Put that up into VOR 1. Look it. Now, did we get anything up here? And were we supposed to be on the ILS? like I said, refresher flight. Got to remember how to do things. I don't see it showing up. Another one. 1130. Yeah, we've got it. You see how this turned to blue? We got the blue arrows now. So if we wanted to break our flight plan, have it follow that, we would hit the localizer button, and it would attempt to fly that course. Let me see if they've got VOR2 working now. Okay, so that one works. That was 113. Let's try. $1092. $109.2. Try this for 2. I'll be darned, it's working. Hey, you guys at Microsoft or Asobo are fantastic. We now have both VORs working. Last time we were together doing any of this, just VOR1 was working. So it makes things, we were trying to triangulate. We were practicing triangulation. And so now you can triangulate. So if you didn't have a flight plan of somebody's, your mysterious benefactor tells you go here, and it's fantastic. All right, and we're able to see those because of these. All right. So I'm in the Rose VOR on this knob up here, and I believe that it is these switches that toggles the display. Let's see what happens when I toggle these off. Yeah, there's VOR2 off. VOR1 stays on. That again. Okay, VOR2. So VOR1 stays on. Huh. That's interesting. We've got the blue one, but we've got that one. Maybe that's the radial. What is that? I'm not sure what that one is. Because we've got 3 going at the moment, so I'll need to consult with somebody about that. Okay, so now let me turn off VOR2 real quick and also show you something that we learned that was fun. Okay, and that's how to set the radial. Okay, so right now it's telling us the direction of the VOR diesel way. Okay, but that's for the 0, right? The 0 vector. Let's say we needed to we wanted to come in on the 270. Okay, so right here under course CRS, come down here, plug in the compass heading that you want and enter that into the course, and then we'll take a look at our screen up here. Okay, so now you see how the blue line has changed and the arrow has moved. Okay. So now we're heading towards that VOR, and if we were to hit the localizer and have it try to navigate that, I'm going to try to come in on the 270 radial. Let's do the 150. Some people are like, why are you doing any of that? You don't do that when you fly an Airbus. Yeah, I know, but isn't it nice to know how? It's like the folks that get the study grade. You know, you really want to, I mean, this isn't study grade, but you want to know as much as you can. You know, I want to, I like knowing how to fly these things manually. I'm happy that you folks convinced me to really crack down and learn this stuff. And I thought this was rather difficult. Now it doesn't seem so difficult. But when, maybe it's just the intimidation factor. When you look at something like this and you're used to the Garmin, it's hard not being intimidated. And then somebody tells you, look, right now in the Microsoft A320, you only need to know 3 buttons, maybe 4, maybe, really just 2. Either way, they're trying to demystify and de-scarify it. Hey, you don't need to know how everything in this thing works. You need to understand the functions that operate like the Garmin GPS, and don't be intimidated by it. And there's some fantastic videos out there, some that I've done now. Mostly mine are to demonstrate that I know how to do it. Yes, there are other people that have produced videos on how to do it. But one of these days, I would like to show. These days, I would like to show somebody my videos. I don't think our altimeter is proper if they're telling us to climb. Let me check ATC messages and see if I missed an altimeter reading somewhere. Hmm, 2992 was the last one I see. Talking so much, I forgot to show you all this beautiful landscape. It's gorgeous. It gets more beautiful the more west you go. The trees, it's so green. I'm green with envy at you folks that live out, going towards Washington, Seattle. It's just, wow. There are some other flights that I've done recently that I wish I would have recorded for you, and I'm going to have to go back and redo them. I don't know about you, but I love those shows, like the Survivor shows, and particularly this recent one, well, rather recent, called Alone from the History Channel. And in the television show, they show you a map. They zoom down into a map of roughly where all the contestants are at. And I have been flying those locations because I'm interested. I've signed up for the show. I've been signed up for the show for like the last 3 or 4 years. they haven't called. Probably because I tell them, do I have to come back? Can I use my win money to just stay there? You know, should I win? If I do win, can I just buy the plot where I'm at and just stay? I don't know that I want to come back. It's more of a joke, but each day it seems less and less like a joke. But I want to, now I think I want to do some live streams or some recordings for everybody else to show them, you know, what the areas look like. I found some great things. Usually it's one of those is like, I'm always wondering where the camera crew stays. So they've got the contestants all split up and spread around different parts of this countryside or whatever, wherever it's at. But there's always a camera crew and the emergency medical crew, and, you know, in case somebody taps out or needs assistance. So they've got to be relatively close. So lately, my big adventure has been trying to hunt down and find how, you know, the nearest place. And I'm finding it all. It's pretty easy now. And you see how they get in and get out, or where they're staying at. And it's usually a really nice resort near the area somewhere. So everybody's out there struggling to survive, and, you know, all the camera crew and other people are living it up at a resort not too far. They want us up to 360. Come inside here. Assist to 36. Pulled out. Check your screen. Sure, we are climbing. Another thing you want to do is keep an eye. You definitely want to keep an eye on this thing throughout your flight. Keep glancing at it, as you should always scan. They say scan your instruments. But the first indication that you are running into any icing, this thing is going to start going crazy. This side of your indicator, your speed indicator, your airspeed indicator will start freaking out, and the needle will start bouncing up and down. And that is an indication that you should, one, look out if you can, and make sure, if you do see that happening, chances are you're going to pop out and you'll notice that you are starting to build up ice, which we're currently not. And should that happen, immediately go to your upper panel up here into your window heating, your anti-ice, your wing, your engines, and your window heat, and turn those on. Currently our lights are on. We don't need any other illumination in here. Pardon me for not going through the checklist, but I wanted to get to it tonight after earlier. I didn't know what to expect, if this was going to go south or not. Okay. I'm working on another one right now that's can't really live stream because I'm trying to do something a little bit different. It's JEJU Island in South Korea, kind of doing a tour around it. So I'm actually recording it and breaking it into pieces and editing it and adding audio, and amazing little place. See what I mean about the land getting really, I mean, look at that. That's a trip. If you believe in electric terraforming, this seems to fit the bill. I mean, look at that. I mean, sure. It's so cold out here that you can really account for erosion because of the snow and the water melt. You can, but then again, some of these patterns that we see, I don't have that trained of an eye, but when I look on these ridges and they talk about you know, shock waves and the way the electric patterns move out, you start seeing those patterns out in places like this. You're able to read the landscape a little bit better. But definitely look at how rugged this stuff is. With everything that's going on and me not being around for a long time, it's really hard for me to ask you to like and subscribe. But I gotta tell you, I could really use your support right now more than ever. So even if you're not terribly thrilled with what you're saying right now, I could still use your help. Every subscriber counts at this point. Hopefully it helps me get back into working things out with Microsoft, with YouTube. Pardon me if you hear any noise on the mic. I'm adjusting something. If you didn't know, which you probably do, you can always check the visual flight rules map. How to get an indication of where you are. There we are. I've already checked Sky Vector earlier for the approach information, but let me show you how to do that again. So the airports that you're coming into, again, one of the beautiful things about Sky Vector is you have your elevations. So that's, you know what? I realized this version of OBS, this entire time when I've been adding elements, it doesn't switch until you slide this little bar. So now you're seeing Sky Vector. What a pain in the butt. So my apologies again. It's a refresher flight, and it's a refresher for me learning how to use OBS. So in this version, without changing things, so if I make a change, like turn Sky Vector off, I have to then slide this little bar. Oh, man. So I'm going to need to figure out how to turn that off again. So that's an auto switch. I can't be bothered with that all the time. That's too much going on. But I was saying, I was trying to show Sky Vector. And go to your arrival airport. All right, and if you zoom down on your arrival airport, KSLC. That's it. Okay. Thank you. We will. All right. So if you click the little pin at the airport and hover over Salt Lake, you get your airport diagram, which is fantastic. But now you get all the ILS PDFs or the RNAVs. This is a new one. I'm not sure what LDA is. That's a new one for me. Here's all your departure procedures and your arrival procedures. Okay, so let's look at 34 left, ILS. Right? Category 2 and 3. And click on it. and it should pop up in a PDF. Let me enlarge that here. Okay, so in the upper right corner, we have our localizer 111.9. And in the Airbus, once you've set up a flight plan from the main Microsoft world map flight planner, in the Airbus, it's automatically in there. It's included. So you don't have to put it in. If we were building the thing manually, you'd want to check, make sure that you have it. The approach course, the runway landing zone, the touchdown zone, 4,229 feet. All right, this information over here just letting us know which runway we're on. Other important information, going from here to here, the type of lighting that it has, your missed approach information, frequencies in order of importance. All right, top-down view of the area. Got your VORs. All right, now the cone, the arrow here always shows where you come in from. The fat end, the wide end is where you come in down for a landing. Okay. This gives you an overview of the altitudes for a 25-mile radius. Top view of the airport. Okay, but what's I think most important is your side view here, the side view profile. And this shows you the altitudes that you will need to descend to make contact with the ILS. Now, air traffic control is really good about directing you down to the proper altitudes, but not always. Better to trust yourself. So the most important one along here is your waypoint names: Pewter, Camry, Dunlop, Flag, and I'll show you those in the MCDU in a moment. Okay, but by the time we hit Flag, we need to be at 6,100 feet. See the gray arrow here? That is this arrow. So this arrow here in the top view, this gray arrow here in the side view, same thing. And it tells you at 5.7 miles as you're coming in, see this little dotted arrow going up. If you can't see the runway by 5.7 miles due to bad weather, you're supposed to terminate the landing and go to your waypoint. And it tells you what to do here. If in these little boxes, it tells you climb to 4,800 feet, climb to 8,100 feet, turn to the 249 radial, and head to the Staco waypoint. And that way, then you can contact air traffic control and come back in again. There are other folks out there that'll tell you how to read every little thing on here. I recommend watching videos on that. I hope that gives you an idea of what's going on. Said I'd show you those waypoints: Pewter, Camry, and Dunlop in the MCDU. Look at them here. As we get closer, we'll be able to see them on the display, but let's look here. Our flight plan, the flight plan button. Scroll up and down, scroll up to go down and down to go up. There's Pewter right there. Okay, so let's go. We're currently at MTU. Down to go up to go down. So those are the waypoints ahead of us. And then the one I'm looking for, see that Pewter at the bottom. Okay, and the next one from there is Camry. And then from there, Dunlop. Then Flag. And we need to be at 6,000. Now there is a way to program it in over here. Your altitudes. All right, they want us to come down to 220. Up this 22. There she goes. Okay, so from Sky Vector again, we need to be at 6,100 feet. Seems like air traffic control's got us in good hands at the moment. Okay, when they ask you to expedite, I don't know if the expedite button is working yet, so we're going to find out. Usually there's a button here for expedite. If not, what we can do is we can change our pitch. Where are we at? We're plummeting. We're falling straight down, so I don't think there's a need to change this. But you can change your vertical speed up and down. Rotate this knob into the positive or the negatives. In this case, we would want a negative. And they say, you know, a pitch of even as far as 2.5 can be heavy, but usually they said the passengers don't freak out too much. And then to engage it, pull down or pull up. The reason why I'm not changing it is because if you look over here, we're falling. And if you look at this yellow bar right here, it's already got us pretty much plunging straight down. It's not that extreme, but it's the bar is pointing straight down. So we'll be there momentarily. You like Iron Maiden? Saw an ad tonight on TV. It's a program it was over at a family member's house. And they were going to do an interview with Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden tonight. And they do like a lead up clip. They show video clips, he's done this. He's a rocker. He's an airline pilot. And they show the Iron Maiden plane. And my wife looks over. He flies the plane too. Yeah. Bruce Dickinson also flies the Iron Maiden plane. He's a pilot. That is a man of many, many talents. Great writer, great rocker, and great pilot. I'm very happy. OBS, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. OBS has not disconnected us this entire time. I don't know what was up earlier. Maybe it was just prime time. Not a This'll. Yeah, this would be a nice area. Plenty of water, that's for sure. All right, they want us to come down. The only thing I'm concerned about at this point of this flight now is the landing, because there's a bug lately where the reverse thrust does not engage. So it's very difficult to perform a landing and get your view just right. So, okay, what I mean by that is be sitting in the seat and be able to see the runway and get your camera adjusted. So at the same time, you can see the runway and see your throttle quadrant. Because if you can't, if it's not working with the buttons, you have to keep an eye on the runway and your throttle and make sure this thing gets into the reverse thrust position. Manually, you have to come in here and pull these down. Get your speed brakes. So the other day, was messing around and went to do a landing, and next thing I know, I'm off the runway, and it's because this didn't engage properly. So I ran to the forums to look, and sure enough, there's something going on. I think I just realized OBS turned my desktop volume down. You haven't heard the engines or any desktop noise from the flight simulator this entire time. Shoot me now. It's always something. That was set fine, and why that toggled into an off position, I don't know. Gremlins, man. Oh, man. Promise to try to make the next live streams better without as many problems. Let's see what waypoint we're at. Leahy. All right, 2 more waypoints and then we're in the approach. We need to be down to approximately 10,000 feet by no lower than 10,000 feet by pewter. A little municipal airport there. Place looks very magical in the winter.
Contact Salt Lake approach on 128.1. Good day. 128.1 Kinias 21. Salt Lake approach Kinias 21 12,000 feet.
Kinias 21 Salt Lake approach altimeter 29.902. Continue to KAMMP as planned. Kinias 21 descend and maintain 11,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 11,000 feet, Kinias 21.
Kinias 21, please expedite your descent, 11,000 feet.
Yeah.
Kinias
All right.
21, you are 26 miles south. Descent and maintain 10,000 feet. Expect ILS runway 34 left approach via Pewter transition. Cleared to Pewter.
Here we go.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet. Expect ILS runway 34 left approach via
Let me
Pewter
go ahead and
transition. Cleared to Pewter.
put in a
Kinias
bit of
21.
flaps. Might as well. Might be a little bit premature, but it's fun to put the landing gear down. Flag? Yeah, it's not so far away. I'm gonna just go full flaps.
Overspeed.
Kinias 21 descend and maintain 9,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 9,000 feet, Kinias 21.
Emery, 9,000. 8,000 at Dunlop, and 6,100 for flag.
Kinias 21 descend and maintain 8,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 8,000 feet, Kinias 21.
At this point, I could probably just turn on localizer and or approach. I'll go ahead and put on localizer. And we'll wait for the diamond to fall a little bit more to hit approach. By the diamond, I mean this here. You can see the top of the diamond now. It's not a full diamond. This will turn into a diamond like this down here. This diamond on this yellow centered line means we're centered with the runway horizontally. Okay, when this diamond descends,
KCOS 21, you are 18 miles south of Salt Lake. Contact Salt Lake Tower on 132.65 when inbound.
when this diamond
Tower on 132.65 KCOS 21.
centers on this
Salt Lake
yellow
Tower,
line,
KCOS 2117 miles south inbound ILS runway 34 left approach. KCOS 21 Salt Lake Tower. Altimeter 29.9 to wind 259 at tree. Cleared ILS runway 34 left approach.
all right, the diamond is falling.
Cleared ILS runway 34 left approach KCOS 21.
And when the diamond centers, we'll hit the approach button. Take us down to the runway. I like using the landing indicators. More information is always better. I really liked it when I first started learning traffic patterns, taxi patterns, you know, trying to figure out where to be. That really helped. All those visual aids really help when you're new to all this stuff. Fantastic. Okay, we are at flag and they didn't bring us down to 6-1. And I took my eye off the diamond. Let me hit approach right now. There we go. It's just a little low, but we should be good. Can't wait for the price of video cards to come down. I might be able to get an NVIDIA 3080 in like the next 8 years.
2,500.
10 years. Those prices, my gosh. So amazing, the automation in these planes, and I'm sure it's even better.
KCOS 21 wind 259 at tree.
So yeah, just in the history. in the history of flight, in the history of these airliners.
To land runway tree 4 left Kinneas 21.
So when you look at the cockpits of the old airliners when they were first made, you know, they look like computer centers, requiring, you know, 3 or 4 people or more to be in the cockpit, and as with everything, you know, shrink it down, minimize, you know, get things automated, you know, to where these cockpits these days, this seems like a lot, and it's not. So redundant, you know, and then they get simpler with all the touchscreen stuff, and amazing. We've come so far in such a short period of time. All right, this is the point I said I was going to start getting a little worried, because the reverse thrust. Being able to keep the runway in view as well as my throttle down here. And then and that kind of stuff happens.
500.
Got to keep my finger on the autopilot button, disengage that so we can do our flare.
400. 300. 200. 100.
Turning off the autopilot.
60. 50. 40. 30.
Just engaging the
Retard, right.
brakes. Let's try our reverse thrust. Did you engage? Nope. So see what I mean? Then grab these. Hope we haven't gone off the runway at this point. In the butt.
Kinneas 21 exit runway when able.
Put my flaps up. Let's get our spoilers back up. Naughty. No bueno. Okay, let's get off the runway.
Kinneas 21 turn next taxiway. Kinneas 21 contact ground on 123.775. Going to 123.775 Kinneas 21.
Welcome to Salt Lake City. I like this airport. Not a whole lot of fuss to it. Some places you can get lost. This one's pretty straightforward. I wonder what Microsoft Flight Simulator, you know, 2030 is going to be like. Be complaining that the interiors of the airports, their favorite Burger King was not modeled accurately. It's getting so amazing. It's not that the Burger King wasn't modeled properly. Forgot Abdullah. Every time I go to the airport, I go to that Burger King. You got all the other employees modeled correctly, but you didn't get Abdullah in there. And so you guys are the worst. I'm boycotting your product. I'm going to go back to X-Plane. Aren't you getting tired of hearing all that? Oh, there's no little guy. They trust me to pull this thing in by myself. All right. We can get some ground services going, then I'm going to end the live stream. We might as well enjoy some of this since we didn't do it in Colorado Springs.
Salt Lake Ground, Kineas 2-1, could you please connect the jetway to the aircraft?
Kineas 2-1, the jetway is going to be connected.
To be any slower, camera missed all the wonderful animation. No, it hasn't. It hasn't. Oh, it did. Man, this camera's way off. Shh.
Salt Lake Ground, Kineas 2-1, could you please send the catering truck?
Kineas 2-1, we can send your catering truck. Please retry later.
Oh, they're busy hooking somebody else up. Probably because I have my engines on still. Maybe. I don't know. We got our beep. That beep just lets you know that your door is open.
Salt Lake Ground, Kineas 2-1, could you please send a ground power unit?
Kineas 2-1, no ground power unit is available.
What? You guys. Well,
Salt Lake Ground, Kineas 2-1, could you please send the baggage?
Kineas 2-1, we don't know where the baggage is.
okay. That's we have no idea where the baggage is at. Okay. Well, that concludes the live stream. This refresher was okay. Mistakes were made mostly by me, but flawless on OBS this go round. Thank you, OBS. No problems. And again, I'm going to try to do one every day this week, if at all possible. I'm still trying to work on other ones that I have to record and edit and try to get those out. But I'm going to at least try to do, I don't know, I'd like to say at least one a day. I'd like to be more ambitious than that and get a couple of live streams in throughout the day, just practice. But I'll at least try to do one every day this week. And I'm not real good about at the moment, like scheduling them, because my schedule's completely upside down, folks. So it's like whenever I have an hour or two here, an hour or two there. And so anyway, thank you for tuning in for this live stream. I'm glad it was sort of a success, but chalk it up as a win. So I'll see you tomorrow. Good night and happy flying. This has been Tony T. Kineas. Goodbye.